It's hard to like something that is bad, especially when it's one of your favorite brands. Yugioh the Falsebound Kingdom is a GameCube exclusive game that released on November 4th, 2003 in North America. This game has been collecting dust in my game shelf for years, and after playing through one of the 3 campaigns, I understand why younger Alec never put more than 1 mission into this game. Yugioh the Falsebound Kingdom is loosely based on the animated series it gets its name from. I say loosely because the characters are from the show and the monsters are from the card game, but that's about as far as it comes to being anything like the series. The Falsebound Kingdom tells 3 stories, but I can bear to play through 1. The choices are Yugi Moto, Seto Kaiba, or Joey Wheeler. I forced myself to play the Yugi campaign, so I can at least tell you about that one. Yugi and friends are invited to come playtest a new dual disc system that a company is making, and it accidentally traps all the characters into the game and they can't get out until they beat it. Wait, hold on a second, didn't this already happen in the TV show with that awkward Mokuba being a girl moment?
Let's trade outfits. I've always wanted to look pretty.
Now let's keep going on. Yugi is the unexpected leader of the resistance fighting against the evil... Actually, I have no idea what the guy's name was. He was barely in the game enough for me to care. But after Yugi and friends defeat this guy, the real villain is revealed. The most evil, dastardly person to ever live. Scott. Seriously, that's the dude's name. Like, it's the most boring villain name I've ever seen. And every time I had to read it in capital letters next to an exclamation point, I was disappointed. Like, seriously, Scott is not intimidating. Speaking of disappointing, this game actually has no animated cutscenes. Everything is done through reading, still images, and text that is either in capital letters next to exclamation points or anything like that. It is stupid, because it's from an animated series. They couldn't bother to animate anything in there, other than still images moving fast, or still images moving when they say something. It's not even like a good Fire Emblem kind of movement, it's just horrible and boring. So to sum up the story, Scott wants to summon the Egyptian god cards, then a new villain is introduced, who again I couldn't bother to learn his name because he was so insignificant. Basically, the story sucks. The question is, does the gameplay? Well, the creators never heard of the phrase, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I say this because they tried to fix Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's horrible. The gameplay consists of you leading a set number of characters who all control 3 monsters into a 3D field where you send your team to fight and take bases or defend bases. These bases can be fortified and can be used to heal your team. Now I know you're asking, healing, that never happens in a Yu-Gi-Oh! Game. Well, this is where the broken part of the game comes into play. When your character makes contact with a base or an enemy, you enter a 3v3 match where the monsters have the choice to attack, defend, use a special, or use an item. This is very different from Yu-Gi-Oh! Because these monsters have more than just attack points and defense points, they have hit points and levels. So basically, this game becomes a real-time strategy, turn-based role-playing game, and it sucks. The visuals are cool at first, but they get boring way too fast. You end up seeing the same backgrounds, the same character animations, and again, like I said, they look cool at first, but eventually if you use the same monster for the rest of the game, you'll be seeing the same attack, the same area, just the same thing, and it gets horribly boring and you don't even care to watch it. You literally press play and set down your controller. You can't even skip the animations. That is the worst part. To sum it up, Yugioh the Falsebound Kingdom is a boring game, and I didn't have a lot of fun with it until the end game. And I only enjoyed the story when the characters from the TV show were actually talking. They do have that dynamic that they do in the series, like they would here, but it's just so far and in between, I don't even care. This kind of sucks because the game actually had a lot of pretty interesting ideas. They had day and night cycles and other things that would affect the map. They also have random encounters where you would meet new monsters, and these were interesting because some of the monsters that you would see in the series or play in the card game actually got some lines of dialogue, and this is pretty fun. Some monsters even had polymerization, some monsters even had things like special moves, like if you have the Dark Magician and the Dark Magician Girl, and they both attack at the same time, they have a special move. It's really cool, but it's so boring and hard to get to this cool stuff, you just stop caring. So, I can't really recommend this game to anyone who isn't a fan of the series, and I barely can play it myself. So I will be giving Yugioh the Falsebound Kingdom for the GameCube 2 Obelisk the Tormentor punches out of 5.
You know who it is.